The Prime Minister penned a letter to the nation on Diwali Day. He says, and I'm going to read from there, "Dear fellow citizens, I extend my heartfelt greetings to all of you on the auspicious occasion of Deepavali, a festival filled with energy and enthusiasm. This is the second Deepavali after the grand construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. Lord Sri Ram teaches us to uphold righteousness, also gives us the courage to fight injustice. We've seen a living example of this a few months ago during Operation Sindoor. During Operation Sindoor, Bharat not only upheld righteousness but also avenged injustice. This Deepavali is particularly special because for the first time lamps will be lit in many districts across the country, including remote areas. These are the districts where Naxalism and Maoist terrorism have been eradicated from the root. In recent times, we've seen many individuals abandoning the path of violence and joining the mainstream of development, expressing faith in the constitution of our country. This is a major achievement, says the Prime Minister. Amid these historic achievements, the country has also embarked on next generation reforms in the recent days. On the first day of Navratri, lower GST rates were implemented. During this GST Bachat Utsav savings festival, citizens are saving thousands of crores of rupees. I'm going to go straight across to Piyush for more details on that. The Prime Minister Piyush this morning, in fact on the occasion of Diwali, talking about two important decisions that the government had taken in the recent months. One is the bringing down of GST and the second, of course, is Operation Sindoor.
That's right, Sonia. That's a heartfelt message which PM Narendra Modi is now sending out to the countrymen on the very next day of Deepavali, where he is also extending his wishes to the people on the special occasion of Deepavali, where PM Narendra Modi has touched upon the issues like the celebrations of Diwali after 2 years after the construction of Ram temple. He has also spoken about the Operation Sindoor. Prime Minister has also mentioned about rehabilitation and developmental works which his government has done, about the economic reforms, about India's global standing, and also he has urged people to take responsibility for Viksit Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister has also focused on the promotion of Swadeshi products, and he is requesting people also to have a unity in place and also value all the achievements which the country had. Prime Minister is also talking about the healthy living messages. So it's a message on which PM Narendra Modi is focusing on about Operation Sindoor, about construction of Ram temple, about various things in his letter which he has now written to the countrymen on the very next day of Deepavali. So it's a very important message which PM Narendra Modi is sending out. And I am also quoting one important quote which PM Narendra Modi has written in his letter, and I quote on that: "I extend my heartfelt greetings to all of you on the auspicious occasion of Deepavali, a festival filled with energy and enthusiasm. This is the second Deepavali after grand construction of Ram temple in Ayodhya. Lord Sri Ram teaches us to uphold righteousness and also gives us the courage to fight injustice. We have seen a living example of this few months ago during Operation Sindoor. During Operation Sindoor, Bharat not only upheld righteousness but also avenged injustice." So Prime Minister is often talking about the grand celebrations of Deepavali after the construction of Ram temple, but he is also talking about the Operation Sindoor and how India avenged the injustice. After that, Prime Minister is focusing on Naxalism, on Maoist terrorism, where Prime Minister is saying that there are only few districts where Naxalism and Maoist terrorism are left. Apart from that, many districts are there from where the Naxalism and the Red terror has been completely eradicated. Prime Minister is saying that apart from eradication of Naxalism, there are various other achievements of country, be it about the next generation GST reforms or about India's standing on a global platform.
With that for the moment, Piyush Mishra getting in those details. Piyush telling us about the Prime Minister's letter to the nation on the occasion of Diwali, where he has also spoken about Operation Sindoor, reflected on the fact that this is in fact the second Diwali after the building of the Ram temple, in a way listing out the work that has been done by the government and the commitment of the political party Bharatiya Janata Party vis-a-vis the building of the Ram Temple, Operation Sindoor and GST reforms is concerned. Listen to what the Prime Minister said yesterday.
आज देश नक्सली माओवादी आतंक से मुक्ति के कगार पर है। मुक्ति दस्तक दे रही है दोस्तों। 2014 से पहले देश के करीब 125 जिले माओवादी हिंसा की चपेट में थे। 125 जिले, और वो 125 जिले पिछले 10 साल की मेहनत के कारण ये संख्या घटती गई और अब 125 से घट करके सिर्फ 11 रह गई है। 11 और 11 में भी जिसको थोड़ा अभी भी उनका प्रभाव नजर आ रहा है, वो संख्या तो सिर्फ 3 जिले बचे हैं। 125 में से सिर्फ 3। 100 से ज्यादा जिले माओवादी आतंक से पूरी तरह आजाद होकर पहली बार खुली हवा में सांस ले रहे हैं। शानदार दिवाली इस बार मना रहे हैं। करोड़ों लोग पीढ़ियों बाद पहली बार डर और खौफ से, उसके साए से निकलकर विकास की मुख्य धारा का हिस्सा बन रहे हैं। जिन इलाकों में माओवादी नक्सली सड़कें नहीं बनने देते थे, स्कूल नहीं खुलने देते थे, अस्पताल नहीं बनने देते थे, बने बनाए चल रहे स्कूलों को बम से उड़ा दिए जाते थे, अस्पतालों को, डॉक्टरों को गोलियों से भून दिया जाता था, मोबाइल टावर नहीं लगने देते थे, वहां अब हाईवेज बन रहे हैं, नए उद्योग ले रहे हैं, स्कूल और अस्पताल वहां के बच्चों का भविष्य गढ़ रहे हैं।
I'm going straight across to Gaurav Sawant for more details on that big story. Gaurav, the Prime Minister on this important day today has in fact chosen to refer to Operation Sindoor and talking about the fact that this is exactly what Diwali is symbolic of. You know, the victory of bad, the victory of good over bad, the victory of good over evil is what the Prime Minister is now talking about in the context of Operation Sindoor.
You know, 2-3 very significant points that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made. One, he's talked about India's civilizational ethos of upholding righteousness and avenging injustice. Now, that is India's civilizational ethos. Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram did it. And in the context of Deepavali, he talks about this, that how India's recent Operation Sindoor on the 10th of May, when India not only from the 6th to the 10th targeted 9 terrorist training camps, including the headquarters of terror at Muridke and Bahawalpur, but also when Pakistan security forces and armed forces targeted our military installations, hit back, decimating 11 Pakistani air bases and radar stations. So this, the Prime Minister describes as avenging injustice and upholding the righteousness that was displayed by Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram in tackling evil personified by Ravan. That is point one. Point two, again equally significant, if not more, is targeting red terror within the country. You recall, Sneha, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, if I remember the year correctly, it was 2008, he had described, left-wing extremism as the biggest threat to India's internal security. And that was a time when almost 1/3 of India's 600-odd districts were impacted by red terror. And today, the worst affected districts are limited to 3 restricted to 11 districts. And every day you're seeing reports of hundreds of, left-wing extremists surrendering with weapons. And this is again a very major achievement that the Prime Minister is highlighting, that as Home Minister Amit Shah said, by the 31st of March 2026, India will be red terror free. And then the Prime Minister goes on to talk about the journey for a Vikasit Bharat and an Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is extremely important. And he's talking about why the importance, and on this Diwali, it showed the fact that he's encouraging Indians to adopt Swadeshi, made in India products. That will help our country. He said, let us reduce the use of oil in our food by 10%, embrace yoga, and all these efforts will help us become a Viksit Bharat. So he's talking about buying local, buying made in India, consuming less oil, becoming healthier, living in harmony and cooperation and positivity in our society. This Deepavali, that's the message the Prime Minister gives, sends across in this letter to the nation, where he's saying that we must follow that path of righteousness displayed by Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram.
Of getting in those details at this point in time, an important message there from the Prime Minister. The second Deepavali, he says, after the grand construction of the Ram temple. In that sense, Gaurav, the Prime Minister also talking about the fact that, or rather hinting at the fact that this again is a long pending promise that has now been fulfilled, isn't it?
In fact, that was one of the civilizational promises. It was a civilizational journey. Imagine, for more than 500 years, Hindus in Bharat could not worship at the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Ayodhya. After the demolition of the Sri Ram temple and the construction of a mosque in that place, after the Supreme Court judgment came, all efforts were made to speed up the process of the construction of a Divya Bhavya Ram Mandir. And, the record number of pilgrims and devotees who go there every year, the record number of diyas that are lit there, it just goes on to show that the effort is once again to, one, while we remain in our journey to become a modern country, encouraging science and scientific temper, at the same time, you are connected to your civilizational roots, and that is something that makes you grow stronger as a nation. So he's talking about that. At the same time, he's also emphasized the GST Bachat Yojana, and he says Indians have benefited tremendously, shopping this year using that GST Bachat Yojana, where he talks about the GST Bachat Utsav saving festival. Citizens are saving thousands of crores of rupees when there's more money in their pocket in this. And in a world that's going through multiple crises, Bharat has emerged as a symbol of both peace, stability and sensitivity. We are on track to becoming the third largest economy in the world in the near future. So he's also talking about that, one, historical tradition, civilizational ethos, and two, moving forward to becoming the third largest economy in the near future, being a part of Vikasit Bharat by 2047 and Atmanirbhar Bharat that he emphasized even on board INS Vikrant on the Western Seaboard. Made in India weapons, made in India platforms, extremely important to remain a strong country.
I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. Gaurav Samant, the managing editor, they're putting that important story into perspective. The Prime Minister penning a letter to the nation on Diwali. He says this is the second Diwali after Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. That's the letter that has been penned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, addressing it to the people of the country. He says Operation Sindoor saw us fighting evil. Diyas lit in Naxal zones for the first time. Operation Sindoor is equal to Lord Ram's fight against evil. Dear fellow citizens, I extend my heartfelt greetings to all of you on the auspicious occasion of Deepavali, a festival filled with energy and enthusiasm. He says this is the second Deepavali after the grand construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. Lord Sri Ram teaches us to uphold righteousness, he says, and also gives us the courage to fight injustice. We've seen a living example of this a few months ago during Operation Sindoor. During the Operation Sindoor, Bharat, the Prime Minister writes, not only upheld righteousness but also avenged injustice. This Deepavali is particularly special because for the first time lamps will be lit, he says, in many districts across the country, including remote areas. These are the districts where Naxalism, the Prime Minister touches upon the Maoist terror, says it has been eradicated from the root. In recent times, we've seen many individuals abandoning the path of violence and joining the mainstream for development, expressing faith in the constitution of our country. This is a major achievement for the nation. Amid this historic achievement, the country has also embarked, the Prime Minister writes, on next generation reforms in the last few days. He's talking about the GST reforms in the country.